What's up, guys? How's it going? How is everybody this evening? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. Welcome, of course, one and all to the show. I am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Monday afternoon. And just because it's Monday doesn't mean it can't be a fun day. How are you? And you guys might notice things are a little different. Dad's changed things up. I'm just trying standing up. I want to know if you guys like me standing up or if you would prefer that I was sitting down. Shellback Bo is from Ohio. Greetings to all of our viewers in Ohio. Good to see you out there. But Tolomicus, Great Old Ones channel. Check your email, by the way, Great Old Ones. So, yeah, I'm just trying standing up tonight for a show, and I thought that would be a lot of fun to do. If you like fun things, and odds are you might, please, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications for all of our live streams, our shorts, which I'm getting heavily into shorts, and that's not just because of the clement weather here in Florida, and our little interstitial videos and that sort of thing. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff here, and if you want to know about it, you got to subscribe, and that would be really super cool. And if you want to support the show in other ways, you can become a YouTube channel member, or you can join us over on Patreon. The links are down below. Also, did you know we have merch? We have really cool Delver's Dungeon. I've got to get me a t-shirt from our merch store to wear for you guys. My co-host Kyle wears one. So if you guys are here on Wednesday nights, and I'll tell you about the cool stuff we're going to do Wednesday nights, then we've got something very cool in store to show you, because Kyle, I'm sure, will be rocking his Delver's Dungeon merch t-shirt, and you can get Delver's Dungeon merch linked in the description below. You can go right to our merch store, and that, by the way, is split 50-50 between myself and Tracy Lesh, the artist who created our excellent design. So if that kind of thing interests you, wearing some vintage D&D art on that you can't just like go to 80stees.com and get a really bad representation of a classic D&D piece of art, but rather a cool representation by someone who actually did it and is actually benefiting from it, then visit our store, and I think you'll find that it's very cool. Let's see. Death Angels, good to see you. Shellback Bow says, never get in a van with Yang. That's right. So let's catch up a little bit and talk about what happened Friday. Friday was a lot of fun. We finished, as Friday was Halloween. It was the last Friday in October. We finished our Call of Cthulhu October Shocktober horror mini campaign that we do every October now. We've been doing it for 3 or 4 years now, and we've had a ton of fun every time. And this past month was no exception. We got 5 Fridays wherein our investigators, they all perished in a fusillade of bullets because they effed around and they found out when it came to dealing with MJ12. But hey, at least they didn't lose all of their sanity, unlike one of the investigators did during that most excellent run. And you can watch all of that. You can go back and watch all the streams on the channel. And just go to at the Dungeon Delver here on YouTube and click the live button, and you can catch all those streams. Let's see. Was it a white panel van with signs saying free candy and free puppies? It was a black panel van with signs saying you're going to get lobotomized in an MJ12 black site if you get in this van. But they managed to avoid it. Not that their actual fate was too much better, but there we go. And I do want to make sure that I'm keeping up with you guys' comments over here. That is the one thing for a standing setup. I need to get a second small monitor and put it up and have it zoomed so I can see y'all's comments without having to constantly do this. Tethered Spine Reads, good to see you. Welcome, welcome one and all. By the way, if you're watching on X right now, do me a favor and say hi. If you're watching us over on X, I like to know how many folks are watching us over on X. Now, one thing I'm going to say, this is the last mention that I'm going to make of this until Christmas night. I want to thank everyone who's come on board. And look, even when the dust settles, if you're like, I won, I'm done, or I didn't win, I'm done. At the end of December, I want to thank everyone who became a patron or a member and is riding out through the end of December to potentially win one of 4 original D&D replica sets that I have made available to those of you there. I had one person asked me, hey, is it too late today? They said, is it too late for me to register, or can I still register? And the answer was no. I mean, the answer was yes, it's too late, and no, you can't register. Registrations are closed. That's not to say we'll never do fun stuff again. You guys know me. I love giving back to you folks. Drawings at the Guac. We're doing the holiday drawings. I love to give back to you guys because you've given so much to me that I like to give back to you guys. So I'm not going to say that, well, that was it. The train has left. It's just going to take a while to come back around. So for next year, Lord willing, if I'm still here next year and I have the means, we're going to have something just as cool for 4 more chances for something cool. And a couple of people have said, Death Angels, you are a YouTube channel member. You're already registered, sir. You're already registered for this. No, you did not miss. You did not miss Guac. There is no Guac deadline. There's no Guac deadline. Show up at Guac. I will say I'd kind of like it maybe the week of, if you have your games in the grid, only to ensure that you're going to get plenty of participants. But this, if you haven't already become a patron, if you haven't already become a channel member here, the window to register to win one of the 4 of these that we're giving away this holiday season, that has closed. You can still support us on Patreon. I have cool stuff happening on Patreon, and for YouTube members, that's still going to happen. That's still going to happen starting in 2026. I'm going to get back on the stick, back to doing what I should have been doing a long time ago. So all that is going to happen, and I'm excited about that. So there's still a reason to do it. It's just the window has closed on this giveaway. Now, as someone asked, also, because they saw the stacks, they saw the piles in the YouTube shorts and everything that I was doing. Hey, will you be selling the extras? And the answer to that is no. I have one for myself. It's this one. And there are some that will be given as gifts. There are 3 going to charity auctions. One at EggCon, one at Page, and one at Claricon, all in 2026. And then there's 4 giveaways to you guys, but the rest are spoken for. Let me just say to those of you who feel a little disappointed, stay tuned to this channel regarding just Stay tuned to this channel. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. I can't really launch into too many details. So the last thing I'm going to mention, with anything to do with this is, if you're unfamiliar with what I've said about it before, that drawing, Christmas night, you don't have to be watching the live stream, but if I ping you with the contact information that you've given me, emails, whatever, and I don't hear from you, I don't get a mailing address from you, I think 180 days is fine. That's 6 months. We'll have to find another person then. I mean, I think if you look on most contests and so on, you've got a limited amount of time to respond. And I think, limited 6 months, that's plenty. Shellback Bo asks what's going on in 2026. A lot's going on in 2026, Shellback, but we have more going on this week that I want to talk about before we get into 2026. So let's talk about what's going on this week. If you're not familiar with the channel, if you're not familiar with what we do, guys, Tuesday nights is a lot of fun because I play first edition AD&D, and I've got a group of gamers that's going to be sitting with us and playing first edition AD&D. There are some really cool guys. They're going to be logging into the live stream, and we're going to play AD&D, and you guys can watch it. Now, maybe that sounds a bit like whatever. Okay, so you're trying to be next Mr. Critical Role, but for AD&D. Here's the thing. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. We don't pretend to play the game. All right. We roll out on the table, so to speak. We have a 3D virtual dice roller, but we roll where you guys can see it. Okay. The dice decide what's going to happen. We could get 10 minutes into tomorrow night's game and there's a TPK. Everybody is slain. All right. We don't rehearse. We don't do table reads. We don't have script writing sessions. We just play first edition AD&D. And you guys get to watch. Now, here's the thing. If you have questions about what we're doing, about how we're doing it, I want you to ask. I want you to ask in the live chat. And I will do my best to answer your question as we go, because I don't want this just to be these dorks are playing D&D and I guess they think it's entertaining for us. I want this to be educational. Maybe you've never played first edition AD&D. Maybe it's been years since you've played first edition AD&D. Maybe you want to play first edition AD&D. For whatever reason, if you've got a question, I want you to come back and I want you to ask a question in the live chat and I will answer your question. What are these characters' levels? What do you mean when you say this many segments to cast a spell? What do you mean by segments of surprise? What do you mean by, you're just going to roll percentage dice that the thief player can't see? All those questions and more might be on your mind, whether you're an old player coming back, an old player who maybe does stuff differently, or a new player or potential new player, whatever the reason, you've got questions. I've got answers. I want to do my best to answer those questions. So ask your questions in the live chat and we'll endeavor to answer them. And if I don't, one of my players might, and if my players don't, then somebody else in the audience might, because I have said this before and I'll say this again. I don't just have the best looking, but I also have the smartest audience of any 5-night a week live stream classic D&D audience on YouTube. And I will kill on that hill. I'm not dying on any hills, folks. I will kill on that hill. So I want you guys to feel like you can ask your questions and you can interact with us. And that's something you can't get from certain other TTRPG shows that maybe are bigger, you know? Michael Connor, good to see you. Hail Unbreaded. So that's Tuesday night. Wednesday night is kind of more of the same because Wednesday night, I don't actually run the game. My co-host, Kyle, the Viking Hat GM, he will be here. And Kyle will be running the game. He'll be running his right now his ultra lightweight TTRPG called Yes, But. Well, that's the title currently. I don't know if he's like landed on that forever, but it's kind of a cool. It's a D6 based system, so he's going to be running that Wednesday. It's a post apocalypse setting. There, the country has and the world has been devastated by war, famine, plague, general societal collapse. And our little Doty band of adventurers, it's myself, it's Kennick, and it's who else is there? Yes, but anyway, so we're playing that. Kyle's running it. It's going to be just a whole lot of fun. Thursday night, what we're doing this Thursday night is I'm going to do a how to guac video. We've talked about this before, but I'm going to show you guys how to get registered for the great underground online gaming convention. And if that's something that interests you, if getting together for a virtual con that's going to cost you $0.00 to register for, $0.00 to travel to, $0.00 to have lodging for, if that interests you, well, guess what? April 9th through 12th, 2026 is Guac 6, is it? Or is it 5? I think it's Guac 5. I've lost track now. But it will be Guac 5. So I'm hyped about that. You'll be able to play games in a virtual space. You'll be able to run games in a virtual space. We are going to have panels with guest speakers. We're going to have an artist alley panel. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys will come in. I'll share the Discord. I'll show you how to get registered. I'll show you how to register to DM and how to sign up for games. I think personally it's a lot of fun. So I think you guys will want to tune in come April and do that. And by the way, those of you that have been trying to keep track of when Guac is, because like I think it was in late March the first time we ever did it, and then we did it in May one year, and then we did it in June a couple of years. It will be in April from now on. That's as close as possible to the time when I crossed over 1,000 viewers here on YouTube, which kind of bumps you up a little bit in terms of number of eyes, not just y'all's number of eyes, but YouTube kind of, okay, well, this guy's got 1,000 viewers. At least that's the way it used to be. I don't know how it is now. YouTube is completely screwed in the head. So I'm not sure what your visibility is like. But speaking of that, folks, and conventions and so on, did you know that I have almost 7,500 channel subscribers here on YouTube? 7,500, that close to 7,500. And that's not just a brag. That's not just a flex on my part. That leaves us 2,500 subscribers out from 10,000. Congratulations. I can math. But what that means, guys, is we are that much closer. We are 75% of the way to 10,000. And when we hit 10,000, you're going to see some serious shit. We are going to have guac for real. The great underground overland gaming convention. That's right. We're going to celebrate hitting 10,000 subscribers on this channel with an in real life convention. I am going to find a space. I'm going to arrange it. The one thing I will tell you about IRL guac is that unlike the great underground online gaming convention, the IRL one won't be free. I mean, I'll have to pay for a space. I'll want at least one or two guests for the first con, and I'll have to, I can't just say, well, if you can come down here, then I guess, I mean, that's just rude, right? So there will be there will be fees. There will be some fees. But I'll try and keep it reasonable, because I know as well as that the first guac, the great underground overland, I'll just call it overland, the first overland, if it ever happens, it's not going to be huge, but we'll burn that bridge the closer we get to it. But I really, 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 really want that to happen. So if you haven't subscribed, if you're still sitting out there and still watching and waiting and wondering, please do click the subscribe button. It helps me out so much. And I'm taking just a funny little poke at my friend Tim Imholt here. Guys, I'm shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. I have been shadow banned. So please get the word out there so that I can escape their censorious, you know what I'm saying. So thank you very much all in advance for taking the time to move your mouse down and tap subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you guys will want to stick around for that kind of cool content that we do. Now, let's see. Death Angel said the show I did on Saturday was about small focus conventions. You might have to have me on to talk about the online ones and maybe the RL ones. I would be honored. You let me know what time, my friend. You let me know what time, and we'll make that happen. Absolutely. So that's Thursday. Friday, we have left the sublime horror of modern Call of Cthulhu well in the background now. And Friday, we will return to the wastelands, the radioactive waste. We will be back to playing Gamma World. That's right. Gamma World returns. We are going to have 3, possibly 4 more Gamma World sessions in 2025, because come December, I'm on vacation. I'll still be dropping videos, little short videos where I do the dice advent calendar. I spoke to the artisan, a lovely woman by the name of Rose, who is crafting the dice for the dice advent calendar. And this year's dice advent calendar is going to be so neat, so wonderful. I think you guys are going to love it to death. So we're going to we're going to do the dice advent calendar in December, and then of course Christmas night in December we have the big wheel spinning drawing for the OD&D sets, and that's going to be super cool. But for the most part, December, not going to be a lot of live streaming from the Dungeon Delver. Now, if there's newsy stuff, if stuff happens and I got to report it, then I will report it. I will definitely do a video. But the 5 night a week, blah 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 blah. I'm pumping the brakes, and I'm taking a little personal time in December, which I hope you can all understand and appreciate. Hey, Recon, good to see you. You want one of those calendars? Where can someone get one? So I used to get my calendars from a lovely bunch of dice manufacturers and all around creative people. I still have, hang on. I have this beautiful cloisonne pin that they gave me, enamel pin, that they sent me one year. My wife, actually, Mrs. the Dungeon Delver, said, "Hey, my husband is looking for Dice Advent Calendar. He did your thing last," and they loaded her up with so much stuff. And this is not a paid spot, but this is just this absolutely beautiful pin. And I'm gonna zoom in and show this. So yeah, that's also not showing up very well. Yeah, but this is a beautiful, beautiful pin from Du Dragao. Now, why am I not using them this year? I reached out to them in March of last year about last year's Dice Advent Calendar because I went looking for their store and I couldn't find it. And I was a little dismayed. So I said, "Hey guys, do you have, you know, what's going on?" It's just silent. There's no activity on their Facebook page. There's no activity in their Etsy store. And the only stuff they had for sale on their eBay store were the 2023 Advent calendars. So I was heartbroken, not because I wanted free stuff. I absolutely wanted to pay for it, but I mean, they had. I mean, I kept. I don't know if I. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, I kept the box. I kept the Advent box that the calendar came in. And I know that people just throw these things away, generally speaking, but I legitimately liked the Advent calendar boxes, and they just kind of went away. So I had to scramble, and I was late like by a week because it was October of last year when I realized I'm gonna have to act on this now. And I just bought the first thing that I could find on eBay, and it was like the most AI slop Advent. If you guys remember last year's calendar, I mean that was just the running joke for the entire year was what how terrible the AI slop of that calendar was. And this year, I found out that an acquaintance of mine, she's a lovely woman, actually makes dice. And I said, "Let me ask you something." And so she and I negotiated. She is getting paid. I will tell you guys all about Rosa's stuff. She's going to be on the show. I want her to come on the show and talk about her dice making process and what she does and the things she uses. So I'm really looking forward to Rose being here and talking about that. Maybe I'll see if I can get her on in December, while we're doing the Advent calendar. Maybe I will do one special live stream, or maybe she'll come on Christmas night and talk about it. But yeah, so Rose and I worked together. I got an Advent calendar to put the dice in. I'm gonna gang press my kids to put the dice in the Advent calendar, so I don't know which ones it is, so I'll be just as surprised as you guys are. So and every day of December I'll do a little short video. I don't know if it'll be YouTube short level, but I will do a little short video, and then I'll do a supercut video on the 24th and release that, of the unboxing of all the dice that she's doing. And I know that there's some pretty special dice in there, some very special dice in there, and I'm excited about getting dice from her in the future. So yeah, refill it with Tic Tacs and Dynamite gum like in Bad Santa. Yeah, just rip a piece of of a big red and half, 10 sticks of big red. That's most of the month right there, right? I'm sure there's people who've gotten absolutely horrid advent calendars like that. But anyway, so yeah, the dice advent calendar is coming up, and I'm hype about it. And that's the week ahead. That's what we're doing. One thing I do want to kind of open the floor for now is, do you guys have any TTRPG questions, any D&D questions, any D&D stuff you want to discuss? I love to do that on Monday nights. Monday nights is just kind of wide open and woolly. So I would like to know if you guys have anything D&D-ish related you want to you want to talk about. You just feel free in the chat. And while you're getting ready to type up, hey, Amasang, good to see you. You've got 4 non-blondes going through your head. That's, you know what? What's up is, I know it got memed to hell, and they did like some terrible techno trance version of What's Up. I liked it. I liked it. It was a very broken, defiant song for a very strange decade, the 1990s. Although the 1990s were a good decade too, but at least I liked the 1990s. The 80s and the 90s, man, those were good times. But yeah, no, I liked it. So those of you who follow the channel, oh, great old ones, has a question. Well, I've got to jump into this. I've got to answer this question. Wheeling Dragon into 3.5. Get him into AD&D. Get him into AD&D, sweetheart. Great old ones wants to know. He needs to create a first edition AD&D character sheet on the fly with a quickness. Have I got a deal for you? Folks, if you find yourself needing to create an AD&D character, whether you're a dungeon master, whether you're a player, new or old, but especially new, let me take a minute to talk to you about CROM. CROM is the Character Record Organization Manager program, written by yours truly. It's an application that runs under Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64-bit, and Linux through Wine, and Macintosh through Wine. It is the last word in first edition. It is a feature-complete character generation system that can create any class, race combination as outlined in the first edition player's handbook. It uses 4 methods of character generation plus a manual input method. If you've rolled up your dice on the table and you're like, I like these, you can manually input those in. And it's not just character generation, folks. It is character management, because once you've created your character, once you've chosen their race, once you've chosen their class, CROM keeps track of characters as they level. Do milestone leveling. Add experience points as you get them granularly. Do you have a multi-class character? It will automatically divide your experience points across the classes. If you get 10% bonus for fighter, but you don't get 10% bonus for magic user, it will correctly account for that. It observes level caps properly. Do you have a human who has the ability to dual class? You can dual class them at the appropriate point. Do you have a half elf that you want to dual class on the way to barddom, or a human that you want to dual class on the way to barddom? It handles bards. Do you have the potential to be a psionic character and your dungeon master is using psionics? It will check for psionics for human characters if they meet the requirements and reward them accordingly. It automatically generates spell books for magic users and illusionists, regardless of level. That's right, you can generate a character at any level. Say a 10th level magic user, it'll automatically generate your spell book for you. It handles encumbrance. It handles character aging and adjusts stats accordingly. Did your character change alignment? It'll make the appropriate adjustments. Did your character lose a level? It will automatically deduct hit points, hit dice, as you lose those levels. It is the all singing, all dancing character management utility, and it lets you save in text or in HTML. Crom is where it's at. I will be more than happy to sell you a copy of Crom for $25. That's right, $25. And that entitles you to any future patches and upgrades to Crom. Emma's saying, I want you to try out AD&D. Come on over here to the pen and paper side. You can stand right here or over here, wherever. I hope you do want to try it out. Phone already in hand. Yeah, just drop me an email, bsylvia@gmail.com, and I'll get you set up. Can we use Crom if you don't have a computer? I can't help you out there. Sorry. I don't have it running on the ether yet. Anyway, so as I was saying, speaking of the internet, while you guys get ready to ask questions, Emma saying, I am serious as a heart attack. I hope you'll play some AD&D. Maybe we can get you to join us on Tuesday nights on the live stream. Let me tell you guys. So I've been doing the short videos. The short videos get a lot of engagement, and hopefully some folks who've not seen the show before will come and watch the show based on the shorts, you know, whether you just watch the videos that I've done or whether you come and watch the live videos. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really promote the live videos like I would like to. So when people come to my channel, they just see videos from months ago, because I don't do regular non-live videos. And when people are like, your channel doesn't have a lot of activity on it, I'm streaming 10-12 hours a week, guys. Yeah, shorts do better. It's Engine Joe. That's just how it is. Oh, I hope so, Wheeling Dragon. I hope so. But anyway, so I did a short talking about, because people had asked, like, hey, you've got all those sets, all those OD&D sets, are they all spoken for? And somebody said, did you make one for yourself? And I was like, yes, I did. So I did a short about that. And basically I said, that I kept one for myself because in addition to having the reproduction books in it, it's also going to become a home for my OD&D collection, which doesn't have a box. I mean, I know I have a white box OCE over here, but I'm going to put these in here. And I did a pretty cool little video. And then, I just shot like a few sections, just a few segments of videos. If you guys saw the short, you know what I'm talking about. And I edited a nice little video together on my PC. And then I went to upload, and it's like, yeah, sure, this is going into your videos. I was like, I don't want it to go into videos. I actually want this to go into shorts. How do I make that do that in shorts? Oh, you want this in shorts? Okay, it's got to be 16:9 or 9:16 rather. Phone vertical video. And I was like, it is. Oh, well, yeah, see, it's got to be less than, like, 60 seconds. Actually, that's not true. There are shorts out there that are like 3 and 4 minutes long. It's like it's 31 seconds long. Yeah, yeah. See, I see what the problem is. It's a huge video. It's 30 megabytes. It's 30 megabytes. 3 of these would fit on a 100 megabyte zip disk, if you remember those. So I look on Google and it's like, yeah, just go into YouTube Studio and do this and then tap this button that says you want to upload it as a short. And that help was from 2022. Apparently, that feature is no longer available on desktop. I went round and around. This is what I had to do. Okay. I had to put the video in my Google Drive, download the video onto my phone, open the video, edit the video so I could zoom the video out to the proper 16:9 so it wouldn't be a postage stamp, save the video to the part of my phone that has the camera directory. And I found that out when I tried once again to upload it. YouTube was like, yeah, you're trying to upload a video. It's cool. I'm trying to upload a short. So put it in my camera like I had just shot the video that way with my camera. Then YouTube was like, oh, you're uploading a short. Cool. Okay. Literally, it's a 30-second video that took me like 2 hours to get on YouTube. It was driving me bonkers. Yes, I remember the 52 megabyte Bernoulli drive. I wanted one of those things so bad. Oh my God, I wanted a Bernoulli drive. A buddy of mine, now I blame this on him, but he had one of those aluminum or tin TV trays. You know the one I'm talking about? It's got a Renaissance painting on the top, little lip dipped in. So if your Swanson's Hungry Man meal drips, it doesn't go on the floor. There is no such thing as a TV tray that's worth a damn for anything. All right, for anything. They're just made to fall over. I don't care who made it. If you're sitting there shaking it like, no, mine are good, man, you're lying. TV trays are bad. But I was over at a buddy's house. He had a 52 meg Bernoulli drive hooked to his Amiga 3000. He was a big spender at the time. And his Bernoulli drive, which was like this wide, that high, 52 meg Bernoulli drive hooked to his Amiga 3000. And I'm just kind of tapping my foot and it's making the TV tray that it's sitting on kind of move back and forth. You'd have thought I shot his dog. God, he was mad. Somewhere around here, I'm saying I have a USB floppy disk drive. Still works too. But zip drives were terrible. Well, let me rephrase that. My external parallel port zip drive was terrible. I almost bought a Jazz drive, which came with a SCSI controller and everything, and was 1 gigabyte. In retrospect, I wish I'd bought the Jazz drive. It was like $200 more than the zip drive. But that weekend and that weekend only, I had this little window open to spend extravagantly on myself. And I bought a freaking parallel port zip drive. What a mistake. I had that thing around my neck for a decade. I finally blew all the discs away and I took it to Goodwill. So if you're somewhere in the Central Florida area and you bought a zip drive at Goodwill that had a Prodigy, not the online service, but the band, oval shaped Prodigy sticker stuck across a zip drive. I hope it gave you many years of good service before eventually Click of Death got it. That's wild, I'm saying. But anyway, so yeah, it was an incredible effort to try and get that YouTube short up. Now that I know how to do it, you know, I can do it. But it's like I recorded the audio here for the video, and if you guys go watch that short, don't do it right now, but if you watch that short, the audio is really good. I didn't want to just record it on my phone, and I wanted transition. So, but apparently YouTube just assumes that people are going to want to jump through all those hoops. And it was an enormous pain in the ass. I hated having to go through that. But again, now that I know how it is, Robert Phillips wants to know what years I worked at NASA. I was at NASA in 2002. I was there for 6 months. Well, let me see. 4 months. It was a short contract job. But I will tell you this. I loved every day I was there. I did not have a single bad day in that time. Now, that's about job honeymoon length. Okay. Let's stick it out another 8 months and make it a full year. Come September 2023, would I have, or I'm sorry, September 2003, would I have still have been in love with the job? I don't know. I don't know. Before those months, I loved it. I wasn't crazy about having to go to bed at 8:30 every night because I had to be up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning to drive out to KSC and be there on time. Yeah, I was a contractor for Boeing. But I hope that answers. Oh, and there was one other thing I wanted to mention about show production stuff. I also just want to make sure I didn't miss any of your questions. Regardless of your registration, whether it's was only to enter to win the OD&D sets, or whether you just come on board and you become a channel member or a patron, just because you like the show and you want to support it, and God bless you. I thank you if that's the case. I thank you in any case. I like to put patrons and channel members' names in the show outro credits. I have gotten so many people up in the last week before we finished our entry period for the drawing that I have not gotten everyone's name in yet. So when you see the credits roll in a little bit tonight, don't think I've forgotten you. Don't panic and think like, oh crap, no, doesn't he know? Yes, I know. I see it in Patreon and I see it in YouTube memberships. So and I've downloaded those. I just need to go and do a new complete list and then cut and paste the list into the credits. So if you don't see your name in the closing credits tonight, don't panic. It's just me being lazy. You're fine. You're still amazed we never crossed paths. Dude, how many people work out at the Cape during and this was still active space flight time, remember? This was before Columbia. You know? I mean, there's what, 10, 12, 13,000 people out there when they were doing big mission turnaround on shuttle launches. So yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be terribly surprised. But anyway, D&D questions. Emma saying you were talking about you wanted to get into AD&D. Do you have any questions about it? And by the way, while you guys are confabulating your answers and conformulating your questions, what do you think of the stand up situation? Now, I'm not doing this every night. I'm just not. I'll tell you right now. Starting to get a little uncomfortable if I'm being completely honest with you. But I think like maybe Mondays I'll stand, unless I know it's going to be really long. Sluis, please explain segments in a cogent way. I will explain segments to you. That's a fine question. So, time in an adventure is measured from largest to smallest. Well, you have days, obviously. You have years, months, weeks, days, and then hours. But you have the turn. The turn is 10 minutes long. A turn is divided into rounds. A round is 1 minute long. A segment is 6 seconds. There are 10 segments in a round. What can happen in a segment is incumbent on how many segments the action takes. Now, this is an abstraction. This is an abstraction for gameplay, for simplicity. Spells have a casting time that is measured in segments. 1 segment, 2 segment, 3 segment, 4 segment, 5 segment, 6 segment. Some spells take a full turn to cast. Strength takes a turn, 10 minutes to cast, 10 rounds to cast strength. It's not something you really can do in combat. Potentially you can, depending on how long the combat's going and how patient your fighter can be. Because remember, you got to stand still while that's going on. But to come back to segments, segments represent when certain things happen, not just how long certain things take. Let's talk about initiative for a minute. Let's say we're playing, I'm the dungeon master, you're the player. Initiative represents 2 critical things. It represents when my actions take place, but my dice can also represent when your actions take place, what segment things begin. Case in point, spell casting and segments. Let's say you're casting a spell that takes 3 segments to cast. I think web takes 3 segments. Web may only take 2 segments. Let's just say for the sake of the argument, just for now, this is not gospel. The web takes 3 segments to cast. I rolled a 6. You rolled a 2. Your web spell doesn't start until the 6th segment. You can be attacked by weapons that have a higher weapon speed as long as the higher weapon speed does not take them past the 9th segment of the round. Now, most weapons are fairly wieldy. Most weapons are fairly wieldy. However, there are some very heavy polearms. You might actually be able to cast your web spell before those polearm attacks ever land on you. But odds are, even a fellow with a longsword, let's go back. Longsword is weapon speed 4. You're suddenly caught in melee, casting a spell that's not going to go off till the 9th segment. Your initiative is 2. My initiative is 6. you might get hit by that longsword attack before you can get the spell off, based on how fast my weapon is and when your spell starts to go. The use of thrown weapons, axes, daggers, darts, or missile weapons, sling stones, arrows, bolts, or javelins, or hurled spears, or flasks of oil, or poison, or holy water, those are all single segment attacks. So when an event happens is just as critical as how long it takes. And what segment it goes in is incumbent on surprise and initiative. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Did I ever play the Illuminati card game? No, I have not played the Illuminati card game. But yeah, initiative can be a bit of a bear, but once you get in the flow of it, it's really easy. It's really, really simple. The thing you have to remember is, and this trips a lot of DMs up, you will often see, hey, Rob Rabovsky Turner. But the thing you will often see is sometimes DMs will mess things up. Like you have, say, a gargoyle. Gargoyle gets 2 claw attacks, a bite attack, and a headbutt attack. Or is it 4 claw attacks? I don't remember. It gets a bunch of attacks. That is one attack routine. That happens all in the same segment. Not you attack with a claw, I attack with my sword, you attack with your other claw, you get attacked by another sword. That, no. I want initiative, I attack you with my sword, then you get all of your attacks as the gargoyle. Just remember that. Just keep that in mind. Now, they're few, but there are some monsters that you'll see 1 to 6 and 1 to 8 times 2 and 3 to 10. Those are separate attack routines. Otherwise, all the attacks occur simultaneously from the monster, and that is almost unequivocally almost always natural attacks, like gore, bite, stomp, stomp, or that sort of thing. Orbital Air 12103, good to see you, Orbital. Something has happened, by the way, with YouTube handles where, like, I recognize all of you guys, but your names have gotten a little screwed up. I don't know if it's StreamYard or if it's YouTube that's done that. I don't know how you guys look in the live chat. I should go back and see how you're appearing. So sometimes it trips me up. If you go in segment 2 and I go in segment 6, what happens in between 3 and 5? There may be other swifter attacks that are going then, maybe missile fire, maybe grappling, what have you. But if nothing's happening in those segments, you just go, okay, and all right, nothing's happening in these segments, we just move on. You don't have to worry about what's happening in them when nothing's happening in them. Just a length of time passes. You're quite welcome, Sliz. Yeah, they show the long names. I don't like them. I don't like that at all. I don't think I've gotten a number assigned to my name. Let me see this. Rob, stop playing Baldur's Gate 3. All right, let's see this. Yeah. I think that's because my YouTube ID is so old, basically, that it's like I don't get a number assigned to it. That's what she said, Wheeling Dragon. Anyway, sorry. That was horrible of me. So but all kidding aside, I genuinely hope that explains segments. We've got 151 people watching. Let's see what that actual total represents. Because again, and as always, X counts a watch as 30 seconds of gazing, maybe even less. There's 25 of you guys over here, 26 of you guys over here. Your YouTube handle is older than your nephew's. Hang on a second, guys. No, I don't want to sell you my house. I'm waiting for one of those house selling people to roll up and offer me like $1.5 million for this place. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we've got going on this week. That I think covers segments nicely for tonight. Any more questions? Any questions, anything at all you guys have got for me? Now you can ask. Yeah, I'm at an age, Death Angels. What are my thoughts on John Peterson? He certainly has a point of view. John Peterson certainly has a point of view. It's probably, I mean, let me explain something to you. D&D history, there is nobody working out there doing D&D history who does not have some kind of agenda right now that they're driving, with a possible exception of Paul Stormberg. And I am sure there are people who would just be like, whoa, no, Stormberg is blah, and he's blah, 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 and he's totally, and he doesn't, you know. Same for Florida, by the way. We're full. We're just going to cap the top of the state. Just click, click. But Peterson, well, no, I'm not going to speak specifically, but everybody has got an agenda. I am going to call somebody out. Possibly the worst person in the world to be allowed to do it was hired by Drive-Thru RPG and Wizards of the Coast to write histories of classic Dungeons and Dragons products that DTRPG sells. And that person is Shannon Appelkline. Shannon Appelkline used to run, he may still run, I don't care. I don't know, and I don't care if he still does or does not. But is responsible for RPG.net. And the people at RPG.net, when Stuart Marshall, one of the creators of Osric, the reason why during the Great Drought from 2008-ish to 2014, we didn't have classic D&D, like quality classic D&D scans and print on demand to buy. Stuart kept the flame alive with Osric, and that led to Swords and Wizards. If you're one of those people that's like, well, I play OCE or OSE, and or I play White Hack, or I play Micro Light D20 or whatever, you look at Stuart Marshall and you say thank you. That is the appropriate thing that you should do. I am kind of responsible for kicking off the OSR. Stuart is responsible for the OSR continuing to flourish beyond my pushing it, like getting it to the delivery room. Stuart was the one that made sure it was a live birth. Okay. And it thrived. Stuart registered for that utter fucking cesspit, RPG.net. And if you're a big fan of RPG.net and this pisses you off, I'm sorry. He did nothing. He said nothing, and he was viciously attacked. He was called a fascist and worse by people at random over there. And when he said something about it, he ate a ban. That place was the prototype. That was the test factory for the weapons in the Culture Conf as they happen in tabletop RPG. That was the proving ground for the people who wanted to tear away at the foundations of the hobby. That was their training area. If you don't believe me, go back and look around 2011. Even before then. So, Shannon Appelkline went to Stuart and said, I'm writing a history of the OSR, and I would like to ensure Osric's place in it. So I would like you to make some statements and answer a few questions about Osric. And Stuart's answer was, I want these fucking posts removed about me. I want the people who made these posts to take them down. And Shannon Appelkline refused. And Stuart said, I don't have a single thing to say to you then. You will get no information about the creation of Osric, the creative process that went into it, how we dealt with Wizards of the Coast. None of it. You will get none of it. And that smug fuck Appelkline was just, well, I'm sorry, we can't work together on this, Stuart. I guess I'll just have to move forward with publicly available information. And I know you asked about John Peterson, not Shannon Appelkline. The problem is this. That is the mindset that you deal with when you deal with D&D historians. Everybody's got an agenda. And look at that book about OD&D that Wizards of the Coast put out. I've got a very nasty video coming out, kind of a year-end video, a year in review video coming out. And I'm going to talk about what Wizards of the Coast did not during 2024. Wizards of the Coast put out a book that right out of the gate, an attack on Dave and Gary and everybody else at TSR. Okay. Nobody doesn't have some kind of agenda to cast people in a bad light in this hobby. Nobody doesn't. The closest thing to even-handed you can get is probably this, Art and Arcana. and the When We Were Wizards podcast. Paul doesn't pull any punches when it comes to Gary. All right. But I had someone claim over on X a couple of weeks ago that the reason TSR collapsed in the late 1990s and had to be bought out by Wizards of the Coast was because of Gary. Well, it was Gygax's mismanagement of the company that eventually led to that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is some mental gymnastics. He was 14 years gone. What was that? It was a mindset. He set him up. What the fuck are you even talking about? It was that mindset. He set them up to fail. He started it. Gary literally saved that company. He sacrificed a movie, the cartoon show, and other media pursuits that were boosting D&D's presence on the public perception stage to come back to Lake Geneva and save the company. And he did. And by a matter of trust, he left the company in the hands of Lorraine Williams, who hired back the two schmucks who were ruining the company, namely Brian and Kevin Bloom. He showed him the front door. She showed him the back door. And so the net result was she immediately started driving the company up onto the rocks, and Gary said, I'm out of here. He tried to save the company he loved. And when she wouldn't budge, he split. And when I told this person this, when I told them this, they said, this book says otherwise. Like, I'm sorry. Who the fuck wrote this book? Were they in the offices at TSR? No. Now, granted, I wasn't either. Okay? I didn't work for TSR. In 1985, I just wanted to play D&D. I didn't even know who most of those people were. I knew the name Gary Gygax was on a lot of the books I owned. And the Dungeon Master's Guide seemed like he was talking to me personally, and I dug that. But I mean, you know, when you ask me about what do you think about this person and their approach, I say, don't believe any of it. All right. Talk to the people who are there. Most of them are still around. Gary's gone, but guess what? On my channel, there's an interview with Gary. Granted, it's only about an hour long, but he very much spells out what went down. Funny, none of these people have ever asked if they could use that as a primary source. Gary's own words. Shellback though. I wanted to play D&D in 1985 too, and you weren't even born yet. That's how good of a game it is. Anyway, but that rant's not directed at you, man. That's not. It's absolutely not. I just think you should be real careful saying, well, this person wrote this book and this book is authoritative. Come on. Let me make a very ugly comparison here. In the 1960s and 1970s, there were a lot of books that were required reading at Sandhurst and West Point that were written by a bunch of generals that were on the losing end of a conflict that went from 1939 to 1945, the European part of it. And they all said the same thing. Our tactics were sound. We just didn't have any support from upstairs. And people have believed that. People have kind of bought that hook, line, and sinker. But long historical analysis says, excuse me, Captain, no, you haven't. You think seated's a better format? I think so too, Slewis. If I'm being honest with you, I think so too. I'm kind of starting to run out of energy. I'll go for another 15 minutes at least. But yeah, no, I think seated is a better format. And yeah, I'm not up here playing guitar, bass or drums or saxophone or anything like that. Harmonica. Sorry if you were listening on headphones and I just shattered one of your eardrums. But anyway, so they say history is written by the winners. It's not. It often isn't. If you're a loud enough trumpet and you grease enough palms, so to speak, you rub the right shoulders, history can very much be written by the losers, by the agenda driven. And in that case, I was talking about a conflict in Central Europe between 1939 and 1945. There were a lot of people keen to repair their reputations. Any experience with a sousaphone? No, none. I cannot play anything. I cannot play any instrument at all. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't play an instrument. I'm a pretty good storyteller, and I'm, a fair to middling a jokester. That's about all I can say. Hypercam. Seated is the way to go. Yeah, I think I'll be seated. I think this is just going to be kind of a one-off thing. Now, I will stand for the for the Advent, for the Advent calendar, because I want to be able to stand it up and hold it up. And of course, you guys remember I had the little Christmas themed towel out there that I was rolling it on. So, but yeah, no, I think from here on out, I'll be seated. Saturday, I did like 10 minutes on the Nerd Cognito Speakeasy, which was a lot of fun. And I stood for that because I was like, yeah, this is going to be like 15 minutes. This has been an hour and 15 minutes, and my legs are killing me. I'm going to stick it out to the bottom of the hour, but oh my God, if you guys have any questions, get them out of your system now. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Is there anyone that has asked your Mr. or Mrs. Claus, or maybe your youngins? I don't know. For any Dungeons and Dragons stuff. The big thing for me last year for Christmas was the D&D dice set. I got that. I was hyped about that, and I got that. I'm very happy. I have some other goodies from that set around here, like a little booklet, a little notepad kind of dealy bop and so on that I haven't really used, but I got those. That was kind of neat. How's Mrs. Delver is fine. I think she's watching Numbers or Bones right now. She likes the procedural mysteries, so she's out there in the living room doing that. Recommend some good shoes. If you're my age, New Balance dad sneakers. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Yeah, Doc Martens might look cool, Nike Airs, whatever, but just a nice solid pair of old man shoes. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. 3 AD&D books, modules, supplements for a desert island. Oh, not doing Christmas gifts this year because that's right, you're moving back to the States. Yeah, Shellback. Recon, I don't even know what that means, dude. I'm not even going to say that on the air. 3 AD&D books, module supplements for Desert Island. Presuming the core books you already have, they came ashore in a sealed container, and you're fine with those. Modules. I'm gonna say Lost Caverns of Sojkonth. Deities and Demigods, original content or the expurgated version. We're talking about the rules here. And gosh, what's the third? That is a tough one. You know what? I will go with even though I don't like the super module format, just to get all of them in there, I will go with GDQ 1 through 7, Queen of the Spiders. That's what I'll say. Yeah, I was thinking that my New Balance had held up and we're doing just great the other day, and then I looked at the soles; they're almost just completely smooth on the bottom. They are as slick as a sheet of paper, which is better than my loafers. Each of my loafers has a hole all the way in the bottom this big. They're not shoes anymore. They're not. The only thing stopping me from walking on the ground is the insole. It's just completely worn away. Under duress, Moldvay. Not even a question. Not even a question. Tom Moldvay's edit of Basic and Expert D&D is it's still got verve to it. These still have verve. They still pop. They still feel dangerous and edgy. Menser's version is Candyland. These right here, man. These right here. That's what you want. Now, you said Moldvay or Menser, so you left this out. But if you opened it up and just said, gun to your head, what version of basic D&D? Well, I would have said this bad boy right here. Holmes, my friend. Holmes Basic. This is where it's at. Chits, a rule book, copy of Keep on the Borderlands. Oh, and dice. And dice. It's got dice in it, of course. The dice I bought later. It really is. Holmes is basically, it's basic advanced D&D. And it says so in the rule book that it's basic advanced D&D. It's like, yeah, there's classes called Rangers and Assassins and Illusionists and Druids. And if you have questions about them, buy a D&D kit. So yeah, that is that is kind of its own beastie. It has 5 alignments, not 3, not 9. Yes, Rob, 5 alignments. The chits are a dice replacement. You put them in a cup or in a bag and draw them out when you need a number. Let me look at that, because I think my chits sheet is still attached. Let me see. So this says, using the dice or chits. Throughout the rules, references are made to generating random numbers by rolling dice. This is because Dungeons and Dragons was designed for use with special 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, 12-sided, and 20-sided dice. Note, it doesn't mention 10-sided. If you do not have immediate access to these multi-sided or polyhedral dice, you can use the enclosed coupon to help get a set, and or you can use the chit system of random number generation, which is described below. To use the number chits, cut off the laminated portion of the back cover fold out and then carefully cut along the lines dividing the chits. You should have 90 cardboard chits. Notice that they are printed in different groups: 1 to 4, 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10, 2 sets, 1 to 12, and 1 to 20, 2 sets. These duplicate the various dice types. To use the chits, place each different type in a small container, perhaps a small paper cup, and each time a number generation is called for, draw a chit at random for the appropriate container. Be sure to return the first chit before another draw is required. In this manner, any of the required die rolls may be easily duplicated. If a percentage roll is indicated, simply draw the 1 to 10 chits 2 times, treating the chit printed 10 as 0. So any number from 0, 1 through 100 or 00 can be generated. If you would like to obtain a set of polyhedra dice to use in preference to the chits with playing the game, or use the coupon below by presenting it at your TSR outlet or sending direct to TSR Hobbies. And there you go. The bearer of this certificate shall be entitled to purchase a set. They're not sending you these for free. A polyhedra dice at $1.50 US funds outside continental US at $1 postage and handling. To proprietor, TSR Hobbies will redeem this coupon for the difference between current suggested retail price and $1.50 US plus 20% of that difference for handling. Certificate void where prohibited by law. To be valid, certificate must include name and complete address of redeemer. And you can put all that in there. And there's your chit sheet. And the reason we have that is because TSR wanted to chisel you for more money. That's financial brilliance from the Blooms. You drive like Chit happens. The Chit Rodriguez shirts you could find in certain gas stations in the South and Midwest. I don't. So, what attribute do I feel is superfluous, and what would I replace it with? None of them. I think they're all pretty essential. I don't think any of them are superfluous. I think charisma is absolutely necessary because you need to hire hirelings. You need hirelings and henchmen to succeed in first edition AD&D and original D&D. I mean, you could maybe collapse intelligence and wisdom into one score, but I don't particularly like that. But if I was going to do anything, it would be that, because everything else stands alone. Yes, they were, Rob. But here's the thing with the dice and playing D&D in prison. The wardens, and now let me preface this by saying you get a lot of straight sociopaths in prison. Unfortunately, you also get a lot of straight sociopaths out of prison who didn't start that way. So, with that said, wardens will call anything contraband. They will refer to anything as trafficking. And any situation where one person has sway over another person is considered trafficking. That's why 3rd and 4th edition were actually really popular in prison, because they practically don't need a dungeon master. You know what you need to hit. You're rolling the dice. And I know from someone who was there, like you might, like literally for 2 months, you might have a guy, you might have a guard who would come by, see you playing D&D in your cell and be like, yeah, that's cool. I used to play. What's your character? Tell me about the adventure. Yeah, that's cool. Take care. And then 2 months later, somebody completely different comes. Your cell gets tossed. Anything you use to game with is considered contraband. Your adventure notes are considered trafficking because they your hand written down, copied from internet, OGL stuff is taken away because it promotes escapism. And then that's it for a year. And then you slowly rebuild again. And you play for a while. And you get an administrator, you get you get somebody again who's cool with it. And maybe that lasts for a week. And a new warden comes in. And this warden is 60 years old, 70 years old. They came through the satanic panic bullshit and they still believe it. They're ultra conservative, ultra hyper Bible thumping Christian, and we're not going to have Satan worship in my corrective facility. And it all goes out the door. And it can happen all the time. That was how I had it explained to me, that there is no perfect system of, well, we use dice made out of compressed toilet paper and we can flush them if we need to. You may have months go by when guys are just straight up rolling dice. The screws don't mind. And then you may have a time when that'll get you a week in solitary because it's trafficking, it's contraband. What are you playing for? What are you rolling dice for? Nothing. We're playing D&D. Well, that's promoting escapism. So yeah, they do. They absolutely do. But I mean, the crazy thing is, like, I watched tech YouTuber videos where these guys will buy from websites that sell the stuff surplus. Like, there's laptops, tablets, TVs, handheld video game devices that if you save up your money, you can buy in prison. But D&D is a no-no for some reason. I mean, hell, there's prisons like, yeah, I'm gonna sit in my cell and browse the internet. Granted, it's exceptionally slow, and they're gonna like watch everything you do, but I don't know. So I guess I'll leave it there, guys. I'll be sitting down tomorrow night and every night hereafter. I don't think this particularly worked well because I'm exhausted, about to fall down. So thank you all for being here tonight. And like I said, when it comes to the end credits, everyone, I'm gonna bolt the end credits together properly tomorrow, so everybody will get their appropriate honoraria on the end credits. I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for absolutely fantastic questions and fantastic discussion, guys. I love you all. Tune in tomorrow night for some AD&D. It's going to be a lot of fun. And until then, keep your eyes peeled for the dreaded owl bears. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.